Hey guys, my name is Shashank Guduppa, and in today's episode, we're going to talk about something that a lot of viewers have been asking us, which is Shashank, how to find out fundamentally undervalued stocks or how to find out whether a stock is undervalued or overvalued. So, today we're going to talk about how to identify undervalued stocks from a fundamental perspective. And what we're going to talk about in today's episode is we're going to discuss what is undervaluation, what are the ratios that are used to gauge this undervaluation, and how to identify whether the undervaluation is justified or not. Lot of thoughts around this, but I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible for you. So stay tuned and listen more. As the name suggests, undervaluation is basically relative. Basically, it's a measure of comparing something with something. So I'm undervalued with respect to something else. Now, in most cases, when you talk about stock valuation, right, or you talk about a stock whether being undervalued or overvalued, stocks valuation ratios are basically used to gauge the relative level of valuation that a company is enjoying in the stock market. So basically, we look at the stock's valuation and find out whether it's overvalued or undervalued. Now, if you want to compare a stock and try to figure out whether it's undervalued, then you need to do it with the same companies, okay, or you need to do it with different companies in the same sector that have similar characteristics. So if I have a company, I have to compare it with all the other competition that it has in the same sector. I can't compare one company with some other sector. That doesn't work. So the same sector, who's undervalued, who's overvalued, we will have to look at. Or if you don't want to compare with different companies, you'll be like, you know what, I don't care about that. I'm going to compare it with the entire sector. So they take the entire sector's average and say that this company in this sector is currently undervalued. So we're going to talk about that, but there are much more things to it. A company is said to be undervalued if the valuation ratio is lower than the ratio for the comparable company or its competition, or if it is lower than the industry sector average as well. And this is because there's no change in the company or no change in the operations, but it's still lower than the companies that it has in its competition, or it is still lower than the industry average. That is a mystery, right? So that is when it is purely known as undervaluation. But don't worry, there are a few ways to figure out valuation metrics. The first one is by using a ratio known as PE ratio. Now, PE ratio or price to earnings ratio is basically the most used valuation metric today. Basically, a P ratio will tell you at what premium the company is trading right now and what people are ready to pay over its earning power, right? So if I'm making some kind of earnings, which is price to earnings, if I'm making some kind of earnings, people are ready to pay this amount, right? So my price to earnings ratio is very high. But if it goes too high, then it is an issue. So how much are investors willing to pay for a particular stock depending on the earnings? Now, P ratio's formula is basically the share price of the share, divided with this EPS, which is earnings per share. Now, again, price to earnings ratio or value can vary widely depending on the business in question and the perceived potential of a business. So why are people paying a premium? It depends on the business, right? Only depends on the business. Now, we can test whether a company is undervalued or not by comparing its price to earnings ratio with any competitor's price to earnings ratio, or even the sector's price to earnings ratio, or even the past price to earnings ratio. So I can either compare it with my competition or compare it with the whole sector, or I can look at my own history and be like, you know what, my P ratio is higher before, but now it has gone down. So am I undervalued right now? Maybe, I don't know. Now, for example, let me give you an example, right? If you check P ratio of Ambuja Cement, a P ratio of Ambuja Cement is 25 times. Means people are ready to pay 25 times more than the earnings of Ambuja Cement. But Ultratech Cement is getting 35 times P ratio. That means people are ready to pay 35 times more for Ultratech Cement's earnings, right? Now, if you compare Ambuja and Ultratech, it seems like Ambuja is undervalued as compared to Ultratech Cement. Now, similarly, if you compare Ambuja Cement to the cement industry sector itself, P, right, it still seems like Ambuja Cement might be undervalued if you look at the sector P ratio as well. Next, we're going to talk about price to book ratio. Now, price to book ratio is also another very commonly used valuation metric. Now, basically, just to make it in simple terms, PB ratio is used to determine the earning power of financial institutions and is mainly derived from their financial assets. Now, obviously, financial institutions have to have good financial assets because they're doing borrowing and lending. So, price to book ratio comes for all these different financial institutions. PB ratios of different sectors may not be a credible source of comparison because the industry and business characteristics are very different. PB ratio again is used in a similar manner as P ratio to see how investors of a company value a company in the industry over and above its industry or over and above its competition. Again, giving you an example to make it easy. If you look at HDFC Bank is getting a price to book ratio of 4.18 times, while SBI is getting a price to book ratio of 1.71. Now, obviously, that we can safely assume that market is giving HDFC Bank a higher valuation, and SBI Bank, if you compare it to HDFC, is undervalued right now. Now, let's look at the industry. Now, if you look at the Nifty Bank Index, that is trading at 2.96 price to book ratio. So SBI is still undervalued from that perspective, from the Nifty Bank Index, right? So this is why, and HDFC is considered overvalued at this point. So again, price to book ratio comes for financial institutions. Now, the third ratio we look at is a slightly advanced ratio known as PEG ratio. Okay, PEG ratio is basically price to earnings and growth ratio, right? So basically we know PE ratio, which is attaching growth also. PEG ratio is basically price to earnings to growth ratio. It's basically a ratio derived from PE ratio, and it incorporates an additional metric known as EPS growth, or earnings per share growth, in its valuation. Now, PEG ratio is basically calculated by dividing a company's P ratio by its EPS growth. Now, why is PEG ratio good? Because it gives you a slightly better picture of the valuation than just a normal PE ratio. Now, the usage of PEG ratio is very similar to the usage of PE ratio. Okay, very similar. Now, if you look at an example again, Bajaj Auto, their PEG ratio is 4.8 times, while TVS enjoys a PEG ratio of 5.68 times. Now, this indicates that Bajaj Auto is undervalued with comparison to TVS. Okay, I don't know about the sector, but its comparison to TVS, it is slightly undervalued. Now, we can also use other valuation metrics. Okay, there are some other valuation metrics like price to cash flow ratio or price to sales ratio. This also helps us understand whether the stocks are undervalued or overvalued at a particular point. After this, I'm going to come to the next segment. This is very important. I'm going to talk about the critical part on how to evaluate whether the undervaluation of a company is justified or not. Now, there are various reasons why a company might be undervalued, right? Not only from its financial strength, but there are other reasons also. Maybe it has a lower brand strength with respect to its competition. Maybe their tech advantage is not that good. Maybe industry downtime is going on. Maybe there's some weird, unique, unavoidable events that has happened to this particular company, so its ratio has gone down. Maybe the competitive advantage of this company is bad. Maybe it's in the public sector and not in the private sector. Or maybe it's a very big company like a conglomerate and it's getting a discount because it's so big. So in most cases, investors basically need to dig deeper and evaluate what is the source of undervaluation and whether it is justified or not. Right now, I'll tell you why. Now, let me give you a simple example. You know ITC. Everyone knows ITC, right? Now, ITC is a conglomerate. Everyone says ITC is an FMCG company. ITC has a P ratio of 19 times currently, okay, which is much lower than all the FMCG players. HUL has 67 times, Marico has 59 times, even the Nifty FMCG PE is at 41 times and ITC is at 19. So you'll straight away jump up and say, Shashank, ITC is undervalued because all FMCG companies are trading higher. But if you really understand ITC's business, you will realize that ITC's majority of revenue comes from cigarettes, right? So if it's coming from cigarettes, then the valuation should be very similar to the tobacco players, and ITC is currently valued with the same level or slightly better than the tobacco players in the industry, which is Godfrey Phillips, and which is trading at 19 times, and VST Industries is trading at 15 times. So with respect to tobacco industry, ITC is doing much better. But with respect to FMCG, not that great. So ITC may appear undervalued on the surface level with respect to FMCG industry. But if you dig deeper, you will be like, you know what, it is not undervalued. It is actually fairly valued with respect to the tobacco industry. So this is something we need to look at. That is why we need to see or find out what is the source of undervaluation for a company, not just by just looking at their growth ratios. We need to understand, maybe is there something wrong with the company fundamentally also. Now there's another point, right? Sometimes a company might become undervalued maybe due to some unforeseen events. Maybe something goes wrong and that is why it got undervalued, and which has no relation to the company's fundamentals or company's business. Like an example I'll give you. Some scandal happened with the CEO's private life, or something happened where the CEO just resigned and everyone's just exited the stock, or maybe some court case or litigation has happened to this company and the stock price went down. Now this has no fundamental impact to the company's business model, right? But still the stock price went down. Now at that point, when you know that this source of undervaluation is clearly unsustainable, that means eventually this is a small thing right now, temporary problem. Over a long period of time, this will definitely go up. This is an opportunity where me and you as investors come and grab this opportunity and start investing in undervalued stocks. So every time you feel something has gone down and nothing has changed fundamentally, that is when you know that it is currently undervalued and you can start buying it at a true valuation. So that is the opportunity that you get. Now, another thing, if a company or the sector is going through a tough time, sometimes what happens, the sector only is bad. then the company or sector may appear undervalued in comparison to all the others. So it happens. Sometimes, for example, the renewable energy sector was down for a very long period of time. Now it is picking up. But if the fundamentals of the company are intact and the industry dynamics of the sector are expected to normalize over time, then we can expect that all the investors will start benefiting from this undervaluation of the stock because it will eventually revalue itself. So again, I'm going to give you an example for everything. Remember the travel industry? Now, the minute COVID-19 happened, the travel industry took a massive beating because nobody was traveling at that point. Nobody was going to hotels. Everyone was locked down. Everyone was at home. Now, fundamentally, nothing went wrong for them, right? They still have their businesses. But the industry fundamentals got into a problem big time because of COVID-19. But now, if you see, after everyone getting vaccinated, industry fundamentals are coming back to normal time. And you see so many people traveling by planes and trains and everything, right? Now, if you had invested at that time during COVID-19 and you knew eventually this is just a small problem, temporary problem, eventually everything will become fine, that is when your true investment would have taken place and now you would have made a profit at this point because you knew at that point the fundamentals of a company did not change. Now, another way to look at this is if the fundamentals of a company have improved and this change is yet to be reflected in the share price or company performance, that is also an opportunity for undervaluation. So sometimes what happens, the company might do really well, amazing profit it has given, right? And it's slowly becoming better, but the stock price is not moving. And a lot of you guys have this question, right? It gave such a beautiful result, Shashank. Why did the stock price not move? That means it is currently undervalued. Go pick it up at a good rate. So if you remember this, Tata Motors, right? Example, Tata Motors has been shifting its focus towards electric vehicles and it was reflected in the rise of the share price in the last year, even though their performance didn't do well, their earnings didn't do well, they didn't actually do it. But just because they said that going into electric vehicles, people started buying it because they know in the future, this will definitely go up, right? So that is a beautiful time to invest in undervalued stocks. Another beautiful time to invest in undervalued stocks or to find undervalued stocks is market crashes and corrections. In COVID time, in March 2020, if you had invested, beautiful time, right? If you had invested recently when the correction had happened, everything came back up. So whenever the corrections happen in the stock, but fundamentally the stock has not changed, then it is an opportunity to invest currently in an undervalued stock, right? Because eventually when everything goes to normal, the stock will start showing its true colors and everything will start going up. If I give you an example, recently we had a massive big correction and IRCTC's prices basically fell by 25%. But did anything change fundamentally in IRCTC? No. So that is an opportunity that the market gives you whenever a correction happens because market eventually goes up. And if you find companies that are good fundamentally, eventually it'll keep going up. So that is an advantage you should definitely take. Now, this is why I'm saying it is very critical to understand and investigate the source of undervaluation, whether investing in undervalued stocks is a good decision or a bad decision. Because you might just look at the P ratio and you can't make a decision from that. That is just helping you to guide you, but you need to look at why this is going down. Is the company bad? Is there some problem? Is it a temporary problem? A lot of things to look at, but I hope that in this video, I could make it simple and make you explain this. This was a very interesting episode. I hope you got a lot of knowledge from this episode with respect to how to identify undervalued stocks, how to look at undervalued stocks and try to find the major source of undervaluation. So if you like this video, please click on the like button, please click on the subscribe button on this channel. And our team puts a lot of effort into listening to your comments. So put your comments below because we look at your comments and try to find out what next topic to make for you guys. Also, another very interesting thing, right? Groww has basically launched their own Telegram channel. Okay, so if you want to understand more about the latest news that's happening in the stock market, some personal finance advice, anything, right, which is respect to finance and stock markets, you will get everything on the Telegram channel. So if you want to join that Telegram channel, it's completely free. So don't worry about that. There is a link in the description below. Click on that and I'll see you there because I'm also on that channel. So I'm getting a lot of knowledge from that channel and I'm staying up to date. Again, this is me, Shashank Godopar, signing off. I hope you guys had a great time and I hope you guys learned something. Click on the like button and subscribe to this channel. I'll see you guys soon. Sweet. Take care. Bye.
Investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing. Please read the risk disclosure documents carefully before investing in equity shares, derivatives, mutual fund, and or other instruments traded on the stock exchanges.